Yo guys, what is up? Fly here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the new dev blog post about the new KV-2s that are going to be added to the game. We have 3 new ones being added and they're not all for the Russian tree. So let's get started. So reading from the dev blog, they say the stern and gigantic KV-2 is an old friend to tankers in War Thunder. Created to destroy enemy fortifications, the KV-2 proved to be less effective than expected in going up against the mechanized forces of Germany in tank battles of the early 40s. How? You have a 152 millimeter howitzer shell. Like how? That would decimate Panzer IVs and stuff. Oh, here's a reason. It was too heavy, too slow, too unreliable. It was often easily captured by Hitler's forces as they advanced on Moscow. That said, in relation to the game, many of the KV-2's models' weaknesses are irrelevant. So I guess they're talking about it's too unreliable, too heavy, too slow. Because in War Thunder, the maps really aren't that big for the KV-2 to travel across. Well, except Kursk and Mozdok, but I'll tell you right now, once you play the KV-2 for some hours, sniping gets real fun and real easy. Continuing, while its strengths allow it to strike fear into the hearts of the enemy's team, very Russian, with its excellent cannon, good armor, and large crew, the KV-2 is one of the leading figures to be found on the battlefield. With its excellent cannon, good armor, and large crew, yes, it has a lot of crew members, a lot. You can get shot in the KV-2 so many times, but for some reason, a gunner still shows up to work after every shot. He's still there. Well, he's dead, but a new one comes up. The KV-2 is one of the leading figures to be found on the battlefield, where it can fight equally well in defense, in a breakthrough, or while supporting allied medium or heavy tanks. So that was the beginning paragraph of the dev blog. As we go down, we start to see some pretty cool stuff. They say here we see the familiar outlines from the KV-2 mod 1944. It still has the same cannon. However, a lower profile than its predecessor, but still large. The protection on its gun mantlet was changed. The 1940 model has a cast mantlet. In addition, it has anti-infantry DT machine gun, which is freaking awesome. Because I don't know how many times, this is the KV-2 mod 1940 we're talking about. I don't know how many times that you guys have experienced this, but for me, when I was in a tank RB, you know, you can't see the if the player's alive or dead. If he might be repairing, but he might look dead, but you don't want to take the shot because you just loaded or you have a long reload. You want to save that shot in case, you know, someone comes around that corner. What this DT machine gun will do is it will allow you to be able to test if someone's alive or dead. And so you just tap the space bar or whatever key body you have set, and if you see a chevron, you let that piece of, well, huge piece of high explosive fly, or the APBC, which is better in my opinion. So it seems like the KV-2 model 1940 is going to be a premium tank. They say every hit against an opponent provides additional research points and lots of silver lions. Also, the KV-2 mod 1940 can be obtained as a prize for participating in the event series Chronicles of World War II. So next up is the KV-2 ZIS-6. Now this is not a DERP gun by any means. Well, it might with the type of ammo, but this is an anti-tank gun mounted on the KV-2's chassis. To me right now, that gun looks pretty damn scary. And does that mantlet look super clean without that huge howitzer in there? So let's read. The Soviet army needed a powerful cannon for a heavy tank. One of the most promising examples of such cannon was a 107 millimeter ZIS-6 or ZIS-6. The tests of which were performed on a KV-2 chassis. I wonder why they didn't put it in a KV-1 or a KV-1S. Probably just not enough support for that. Look how long that cannon is. That's going to be scary. The separately loaded ZIS-30 cannon significantly surpassed the Red Army's previous anti-tank cannons in its characteristics. But for a variety of reasons, it never went into mass production. Oh, it gets even scarier. The ZIS-6 will have APHE, pretty much a nuke. What? APHE at 107 millimeters? Whoa, with its blunt nose and high explosive fragmentation shell. Oh man, this is going to be a one-shot monster. The KV-2 with the ZIS-30 will be at rank 3, and you will be able to buy the tank as part of the pack in the online store. So we have 2 premiums so far. One you can potentially unlock by participating in the Chronicles of World War II. So I did a little bit of digging into the ZIS-6 gun, trying to get some more information. I found some information, though it may not be credible, but this is from Reddit. One More Sky says, at the vertical, 137 millimeters of penetration at 100 meters. So that's not that much penetration for a 107 millimeter gun with the bore size and the caliber of it. But he states that it has 440 grams of high explosive filler. And as I said before, the APHE, that's this shell. So you got to think about it. You know, you don't have that much penetration, but if your shell does penetrate, everybody's dead. Really, everybody's dead. Now, they say that the ZIS-6 or this KV-2 will be at rank or tier rank 3. So they're going to be versing Tigers and Panthers. Well, at least the first Panther, the one at 5.7. I'm not really too concerned about Tigers because they'll die pretty easily. 137 millimeter penetration at 100 meters with 100 millimeters of front armor. That Tiger's dead in one shot. But the Panthers have some curves to it. That upper glacis is arced at 50 or angled at 55 degrees, and the lower glacis, I believe, is at 56 or something. It's going to be tough for the ZIS-6 gun to penetrate the upper or lower glacis of the Panther. And the Panther also has that nice mantlet, or it does, when I mean nice, it has some curves to allow it to bounce some shells. So we're just going to wait and see what happens, but I think it's going to have some trouble heading up Panthers in combat. But next up, we have the Panza Comp wagon KV-2 754R. That is right. We have a German KV-2 being added to the game. Now, there has been some changes to the Panza Comp wagon KV-2 54R, and mainly you'll notice that the Germans stuck on their favorite oh, hi Baba. Shh, I'm making videos. Their favorite cupola, or as my good German friend told me, Tor.
Kommandantenkuppel.
Wow, I said that pretty good, right? Yeah, I knew studying German my whole life is paying off now. But you can see it on the left side of the mantlet. Also, it looks like maybe some storage in the rear. Some pretty nice spaced armor when I take this thing high tier to one-shot leopards and stuff. But they say some of the battle-capable KV-2s ended up with the Germans as trophies, and after some modernization, these vehicles turned their weapons on their creators. Holy shit, that damn War Thunder, that was deep. Captured KV-2s different from their Soviet counterparts in several useful modifications. The Germans installed several useful modifications. One is that cupola from the Panzer IV. This cupola the Germans loved because of the excellent visibility it provided the commander. The outer ammo racks on the tank's rear received additional ammunition capacity. So you're telling me that basket in the rear is full of ammo? Oh my gosh. So in War Thunder, if we bring like additional ammo for the KV-2, if we shoot the rear of it, or like maybe some machine gun, actually I don't know if a machine gun would set off all that, but if you shoot that outer ammo rack, will it detonate? That is the question. Also, they installed a better radio. They replaced its spotlight with a blackout headlamp. That's cool. And welded additional fixtures for cables and tools on the tank's turret. So pretty much a World War II Pimp My Tank or Pimp My Ride episode. They also state that this is going to be a premium vehicle in the German tech tree. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave feedback on this video. It helps me out a lot. Also, if you want to comment on and discuss the 3 new premium tanks being added to War Thunder, do so in the comments below. I will be there chatting back and giving you guys more of my opinions on these new tanks being added. But until next time, guys, have a great day. Peace out. Yes, here we go. Wrong mistake. Well, isn't a mistake always wrong? Why are we manhandling the team in their, like, spawn area?